Hi, everybody, and welcome to Just Saying. It is April 7th, 2014 already. I'm Kim, and I am joined here, as I am every week, by my lovely butterfly-ridden co-host, Mary. Hi, Mary.
Hello. How are you tonight?
Running like a crazy person.
Yeah. You just got off work and probably inhaled your dinner, and here you are.
Yep.
I want to hear that it's 85 degrees there, okay?
It's not. It's 58.
I think we're like 50, so I guess it's okay. You can talk weather. Pull
No.
out my winter sweaters again.
The last 3 days have been cool.
Yeah, this is really crazy. So, I don't care about the weather. I don't care about anything. I want to hear about what's going on at your shop.
I went in the door yesterday and was not greeted with my normal, I'm hungry, feed me. So I figured I would go on a little Easter egg hunt and found 4 little furry jelly beans.
Aww. I want one.
I know you do. I'm telling you.
Yeah, they all look the same, so.
No, they really don't.
So what's it feel like being a grand fur mama?
I don't know. I go in and I check on them and stuff, but I think Luna had her fill today. She came in, jumped up on my desk, sitting there screaming. I'm like, okay, what? I opened the door and she went outside, walked over to the pine trees and just sat in the middle of them for about 20 minutes and then turned around and came back. I guess she just needed a mom break.
Well, you know how I am with cats. And that, for you, that is such a compliment. Because normally a new mommy like that with new kittens, they don't leave the box for like a week only to eat and go to the bathroom. So she trusts you. So I think it's a compliment.
She was out a little bit yesterday. She didn't want to go outside yesterday. She went outside twice today. But yesterday she was like,
well, that's like I said, a compliment. So I'll be looking for pictures daily that you're going to post because they change constantly.
Well, you get them every other day. Because today they were all just so comfortable and snoozing, and Vinny G was climbing under the rest of them to get the most warmth.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, I'm not even going to fight with you guys this morning. Just
let them go do their thing. Well, speaking of babies, tick, 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 tick. It's getting closer for me over here. I can't wait to be a grandma.
I know.
So that's all I'm thinking about, and that's all I want to think about.
So, are we like ready? Do we have the canister of candy? The box of toys? You got to think of this stuff.
Hey, I've already asked them what I should get for here for when I'm babysitting, and they're over there. They're sweating because they really wanted to get this baby monitor and stuff. And I'm thinking, I'll just set up my IR cameras all throughout the house. The baby's not going to go without me seeing it or hearing it. So
right?
I'm good. But it's getting close. May 9th. Hurry up. Anyway, speaking of hurrying up, we got a good show planned tonight.
We do?
We always do.
Of course we do.
Jeez. Anyway, do the intros.
This evening, our guests hail from the lovely state of Louisiana, although I think it's part-time in Texas. She is...
We're gypsies, man. We're gypsies.
She's a psychic medium, a crystal expert as far as I'm concerned, and a crazy redhead. He, on the other hand, was one of the stars of Deep South Paranormal, and yes, it's the first time I've said it right, and I couldn't tell you how long, and hangs out with the crazy redhead, Tracy Ray Ramsey and Keith Ramsey. Hi, guys.
Hey, how's it going?
How'd you like that?
Long time no see.
Yeah, really. How long's it been?
Wow.
Too long. Yes, too long. Well, Keith, I haven't had the pleasure of meeting you, but I have worked with Tracy, so hello. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
So, Kim, you can get things started here?
Okay, I know what we're supposed to talk about, but Tracy knows I'm always gonna...
You're gonna go off course.
Of course.
Right away, that throws off my notes.
I do it.
Just for a little bit, just for a little bit. Just for
Tracy knows me. I usually flow.
Stop!
Let's have it.
Crystals. You have all kinds of different crystals that I can't find yet.
Really?
Yes.
Like what?
The green tourmaline for starters.
Green tourmaline? Arkansas didn't have them? No? I'm shocked. I know a place that does have them, but you're not going to get them wholesale.
Yeah. But anyway, a lot of times at the conventions, you have your table set up with your crystals and your...
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure what the...
Pendulums.
Yes, but you also have like the weird deer horn with the crystal on the end and stuff.
That's my wands I make. Yeah, I make them out of deer antlers.
I wanted to call them wands, but I wasn't real sure.
The spiritual ones, the healing ones.
Well, when we talked to you last time, it was never said, does Keith have a favorite stone or stones, or does he even bother with them?
I didn't hear you.
Does Keith have stones that he uses or prefers, or not really?
Well, I actually made him a medicine bag, and he does have stones in there. I mean, he has black tourmaline, he's got moldavite, rose quartz, labradorite, what else did I put in there? There's sage in there, corn, Indian corn, whole bunch of stuff I put in there.
Okay, do I get to tell you one you need to put in there?
What?
Moonstone.
I got a moonstone in there too. Yeah.
Sounds like you're fixed up there, Keith.
She fixed me up for sure. Yeah.
Well, she didn't
He
mention
has
it.
to have protection, you know, I worry about him.
Well, moonstone is the stone for travelers.
Yeah.
And with as much as you guys get around, but you didn't mention the moonstone, so I had to throw that in.
Yeah.
See? I've been studying.
Yes, you have. You know, Kim's the stone specialist and the crystal specialist between the two of us. I'm the cat person, so, you know, I'm
Yeah,
not.
I love stones. I love them. I have them in my pocket all the time.
Well, I'm going to put a crystal question out there to you.
Okay.
And I've asked quite a few people this question before, and nobody's ever really been able to answer it or wants to. But somebody who has a lot of issues. Okay, let's just say you've got heart, you've got arthritis, you're diabetic, sounds like me. You have fear of traveling. You have a lot of negative energy around you. You need extra protection. And you probably already answered my question by saying that you put all these stones together for Keith.
That's right, yeah. Because you're not going to get all that in one stone. But I will say that copper is good for arthritis.
Oh, okay. My question was going to be is other people have told me, oh no, you can't do that. You can't mix the stones together. You know, if you want something for this, then it has to be just that. What's your take on that?
I don't believe that. That's bullhot.
Okay.
One bit. No. I mean, I keep maybe 4 stones on me. That's it. I don't keep like 8 to 10. You know, I keep 2 in my each pocket, and that's it. So.
Well, and most of the stones are for specific types of protection. Like the moonstone is for travelers, the tree agate is for children and animals. So, I mean, putting them together, if there's different reasons for each one, I don't see how that should be an issue. Because you're trying to cover different things all at once.
Mm-hmm.
That's my take.
Yeah. I don't see nothing wrong with it, actually.
Okay. No, I mean, with all the phobias and things that I had, if I went traveling, that would take up all my weight in a suitcase. So the other question that I presented to people, and this might sound, to avoid that heaviness, what do you think about grinding them and putting them all together?
Yeah, you could do that. I rub mine. I take mine out and play with it when I need to. I don't think I would ever grind mine.
Well, I know the old saying that size matters, but in this case with stones, I mean, I've seen people that have real big ones and smaller ones. Does it really matter?
No, it don't matter. It just depends. You let the stone pick you. You don't really go out and buy a stone just because you need it. I mean, when you want a stone, you go, you search for it, and it might take you weeks to months to find the stone that you need. Because if you don't have that vibration, then it's not for you. You just can't go out and buy a stone and say, "Hey, let this work." You got to know that it's going to work. You
Okay.
got to know it.
Okay, then I gotta ask. She said she needed stones for this, 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 and this. I went into my little collection at the shop and picked her out 5 specific stones,
I take them with me.
labeled them all, and
Why
put
are
them
they
in.
in plastic?
So
Well,
they
she did it for shipping, so I
Shipping.
take them with me when I travel.
Okay.
This is from her.
But I made sure she had the moonstone, the black obsidian, all the one specific ones.
Then you're set. Yeah.
See?
This is what I tell people. If you're going to buy a stone for somebody, you let them know that they need to cleanse them, and they need to say what they need to say to that stone, how you want it to work for you. And then you set it in the moonlight overnight.
Well, you hear so many different things. One is moonlight. One is only in a full moon. One is rain. Someone told me put it in the freezer.
I just do it outside. It don't matter if the moon is out or shining bright as bright can be. I just put it outside and overnight.
Just to charge them.
Mine works for me. So.
I mean, what is the whole concept behind this? The fact that because they're part of the earth, they're like pulling in energy. I mean, how do you decide which stones work for what?
Well, you just have to educate yourself on that, and you have to touch them. I mean, I can spend hours in a rock shop, in a metaphysics store. I mean, I will touch and hold almost every stone there until I know it's the one for me. I have spent many hours, in many stores, trying to get the stone that works for me.
Well,
I've got a collection I've got an awesome collection.
Well, my comment was kind of that you said don't just go in and buy any stone. It has to pick you. But does it count if I pick them for her?
Gifted stones are very special, so that you have to make them work for you. Like I said, you have to cleanse them and say a prayer over them, and just make sure that they work for you.
So it counts because I gave them to her. Well, I picked them, so it counts.
Well, anyway, I'm well set. I'm good. When I used to go to these conferences and I saw the stone, I go, "Oh, I like that color. Oh, that's pretty." I have a whole pile of stones. I'm not even sure what they are. I should let you look at them, Kim. But I bought them because they just kind of look pretty, not knowing that there's, things that go with
Attributes
it.
behind them. There's
Yes.
attributes behind every stone. Every stone has something that it works. It either works any chakra area. Arthritis, headaches, pain, cancer. There's stones out there for cancer. There's kunzite is one of them. There's just a lot. There's books this thick,
Well, I actually bought one about a year ago. I should open it up and start reading it, but I don't need to. I have Kim. I just call Kim up. Kim, I need a stone for this. So, anyway, there's a zillion more things I know Kim wants to talk about with stones, but I want to go back behind you and talk to Kim. Keith there.
Okay.
Hi, Keith. I read a bit of your bio, and it seems that you've been having experiences since you were about age 5.
Yes, ma'am, I have.
You had visions. What kind of visions were you seeing? And as a 5-year-old, how did you deal with it?
Well, at 5 is when I had my first vision of end of time prophecy vision, and I've had the same vision off and on through the years, and having more of those here lately. But this one vision I've had several times. I don't know how many times, but would had it 2 or 3 years later, a few years later, ever since I was 5. And of course, at age 9, I moved into a place in Tennessee, and that's when I discovered that I had sight. I started witnessing, seeing apparitions where I was living. And at age 13, I had an out-of-body experience where I quit breathing for a few minutes. And I had an out-of-body experience where I went to a place, it's a lot of detail, but before I came back, I was told I had another chance. The voice said, "You have another chance, you're going back, you will be one to tell the world to me." And I was listening to God speak to me, like thunder, so powerful, like thunder talking. I felt it in my soul. I felt the vibration. The place I was in was really horrible. I experienced a horrible experience of I was shown a place that those can go if they're not ready and haven't got their life in line and ain't on the right path. I was shown that, and I held it in. 2 years later, I started having a lot more visions, and I went to my mother. Things were bothering me at the time, and that's when I discovered through talking to her that she had visions, and not only her, but her mother before her, my grandmother, which read me when I was a child, told me what I was going to go through, and how I was going to finally meet someone that would where my life would fall into line. And all of these years, I've wondered how to speak to people. I've been afraid to speak about a lot of my experiences, and it's come time to do so now. And through meeting Tracy, we found out we've had a lot in common and some of the same visions. And so it's really brought a lot out of me to be able to talk, which through the years of writing music, I've written songs and, talked about some of my experiences in some of my songs, and thought, maybe that's how I was going to finally be able to open up and speak to the world once people ask, what the songs were about, how did the songs come about. But it didn't happen quite that way. Through doing the Deep South Paranormal show, that really opened me up to be able to reach out. That's when I knew it was time. And then going to events, speaking and all. Once I found Tracy, once we met, I just opened up like a dam breaking.
He did.
And what I felt with meeting her, it was incredible. And it's I've got a lot to do now. I've got a lot to talk about, and hopefully it'll help some other people out there with getting on the path and reaching out to God.
You know, in reading your bio, you know, I had to cheat a little bit because I don't know that much about you. I know a lot about Tracy. You know, when you meet somebody in person, it kind of, you know, you kind of make a connection and you know a little bit more. But, you know, it mentions that, you know, your strong faith in God, your family, your friends, and that you seem to be one with nature. You know, you like to go camping, fishing, and even when you're not doing the things on, you know, on the circuit and the paranormal investigating, you do landscaping. So you've kind of got this whole package together. Do you feel with how you're living your life, or how you have lived your life, it has enabled your abilities to come forward stronger?
Yes, and more. I'm becoming more understanding with a lot of things with help from Tracy. That our connection has made me stronger in several ways.
Oops, I muted myself. I know. So Tracy, how did you know he was the one?
Oh my God. When we met, I felt it. I knew when I got introduced to Keith.
We both felt
Benny,
something is incredible.
Benny introduced me. I just got through doing a gallery reading with Scotty Rourke. I did it with him, and I went over there to talk to him. And Benny and Jonathan from the Bama Boys, they were all there. And I never watched the show or anything. I didn't know who they were. And I didn't even know if I was going to go to that event, you know, because my house, they asked me on July 20th. My house sold on the 25th. I had to be out by the 28th, and that next weekend was the event. I'm like, oh, my God, how am I going to do this? And something told me, no, Tracy, you need to go. So I listened, and I got everything done, which I couldn't believe. And the Saturday, after the gallery reading, I went over to talk to Scotty, and then Benny and Jonathan came up to me and said, hey, how you doing? We're the, you know, Bama Boys, and they're like, well, let me introduce you to Keith. I'm like, okay, you know. So he's sitting down, so I walk over, and he stands up, and our eyes just totally connected. I stopped, and it's like everybody left. The vibration was so intense that when I looked into his eyes, I saw a door open, and I said, oh shit, he ain't ready. And I turned, I didn't say hi, bye, kiss my honey, or nothing. I walked off and went to my table, and I was thinking, oh my God, why did I do that? Why did I not say hi? You know, and I was begging him, please don't touch me. Please don't reach your hand out for a shake, because if you touch me, that's all it's going to take. I will know if he touched me. So, anyway, then we did the panel. I was up on the panel, and he wasn't supposed to be up there. And so Keith Age asked him to come up there, and that's when he spoke for the first time. And he was staring at me, and we had that vibration again up there. And it was just so intense, and we still didn't talk. Well, when we left the event, you know, I'm thinking, God, why didn't I really need to talk to him. You know, there's something going on here. And I wanted to know if he felt the same thing, because with the eye connection, I just know he did. I knew it, you know.
It throws me completely off balance. When we locked eyes, there was
we were swaying.
There was a pull, and I was off balance. And feeling the vibration inside myself.
We couldn't speak to each other at all. I mean,
this is while Keith, you're up there trying to kind of give a speech.
No, we were at the table when that happened. But no, when we were on the panel, he spoke great, and he was staring at me, and we had that eye contact while we're on the panel. It was the metaphysical versus the science, and he was on the science side when he was supposed to be on the metaphysical side.
I didn't know where I was supposed to be.
Yeah.
They gave me a chair and I sat down.
Yeah, so I'm thinking, you need to be over here. You know, you can come sit on my lap. But anyway, so we left.
Well, no offense, Tracy. No offense to my husband in the background, but I wouldn't mind walking over and sitting on Keith's lap either. So.
You got that right. But no, the event was over with, and I was, Saturday, I went to my hotel and cried. I did, because I'm thinking, oh my God, I know he's the one and he ain't ready. I could tell. I knew what he did. I knew what he said. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm fixing to blow him away. I just know it. And 3 days passed, and I'm dying to message him. So I get on Facebook, and I'm typing away, and I erase it. I type away, and I erase it. I did it like 3 times, and then all of a sudden, a message popped up, and it's from Keith. We were messaging each other at the same time. So I said, I'm so sorry that I didn't speak to you, and I just need to know if you felt that, you know, what I felt. Did you have that feeling, you know? And he said, yeah, I did. He goes, you need to come to Alabama. I said, okay. So I went, I had to go somewhere to film, and then I came back, and when I came back through Alabama, that's when we had our first date. And we found out a lot about each other. And the first thing I wanted to know about was one vision that I've had all my life, and it was a key of importance. It was so important, because if he told me exactly what I needed to know, that's when I knew for sure. Even though I felt the vibration and I knew, but I didn't know for sure. So that day, I asked him, I said, I need to know about the cliff. And that's all I said. And he said, oh my God. And he told me what it looked like, the woman that was standing at the end of it, what she was wearing, and her face was blurred. In which mine, the man's face is blurred. And I'm the one standing on the cliff in the same exact dress that he stated. So that's all I needed to know. Because with the vibration that we had, and him telling me that, I was waiting for the touch. Then the touch came. And that's all she wrote.
Okay, well, before it gets a little...
What? You got something to say? You got something to say? Yeah. Now say it. Yeah. Okay.
Well, before this conversation gets a little too steamy, this is, general audience and family.
It wasn't that kind of touch. It was just, a touch,
Okay.
See, and you thought I was the bad one.
It would probably blow my mind.
That's not all of it. There's others too.
Yeah, well, tell them.
Anyway.
Well, there's visions of going to a bed with lost word. What's it called?
Film.
No, the bed.
Oh, a canopy.
Canopy. Yeah, there's.
It's old.
Yeah, old curtains on or drapes on it and everything, and it would either be out in the middle of a beautiful field or next to a stream.
Always near water.
Yeah.
I was always near water in my visions.
You'd hear water, and you'd either hear it or see a stream. Sometimes it's out in the middle of a field for me with, sometimes a bunch of flowers, real colorful. But I'm there to meet someone, to find my love. I know I'm looking for my love. And I can't find her. I'm just waiting. But the times that I have seen a woman in my visions, the face is always blurred. And she's had visions of that bed here and there also.
I have had had a vision where his face is not blurred, but he has not had one of me yet.
Yeah.
So, but I know
Well,
when the face kind of.
Your visions are a lot better than mine. I won't go into my visions because mine usually involve cheesecake.
Ours are very intense. Ours are
I
very.
bet. So I have a question for both of you. Since you're both, well, I've seen you in action, Tracy. You're both paranormal investigators. Have you gone on some actual investigations together?
Yes, we have.
Do you find
Yeah, we
that
get
you're...
a lot of interesting things. I think our
That's what I was going to
energy,
ask, with both your energies, what kind
Yes.
of things you get?
yeah, our energy brings out a lot. Yes.
Very interesting.
Especially if we're touching one another and when we're like showing our love, things just start popping and you start hearing stuff. Even here in this apartment I'm staying in right now, the intercom will go off in the middle of the night, and just all kind of stuff happens here. So we kind of started filming a little bit, and then we get stuff that moves around, and it's crazy. But we like it like that.
Oh, I bet you do. Now, Keith, you're a musician.
Yeah.
You mentioned that you play music on investigations to promote, I guess, paranormal activity and.
It helps. It actually brings out the activity, which is strange.
Yeah, the first time I ever tried that was in an abandoned hospital up in Tennessee, and it was around a maternity area, and they kept children on this half of the third floor section. I brought the guitar in and played some children's songs, and got some response from that. We didn't have nothing going on until I broke the guitar out and started popping left and right. We started getting all kinds of stuff, and we got a child's voice talking to us. So once I found out, that was that worked, I started using it from there on. I've used it on every investigation I've been on, at least a little bit. And it's like, I think because music is so universal, everybody that's ever lived has experienced or listening to some type of music. And, it's, with me, I feel a lot through music, and I know most other people do. Somebody's going to like something.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody's going to like some artist, some song, or they may even respond if they don't like what you're playing sometimes. But music's always been universal, and it's my way of sending out a vibration through the airwaves that seems to work and get a response.
I agree. A few years ago, I was on a paranormal investigation, and one of the guys that usually come and hangs out at this place constantly, he plays the guitar. And we took him up to, Tracy's matter of fact, it was at the Shanley Hotel, and we took him up to the bordello, and he started playing. And
show it in there.
Oh, you would have loved it. The activity really kind of bumped up a little bit. And later on that night, when we finally, like 4 o'clock in the morning, we finally went to bed, the piano that's in the great room started playing.
What?
Yeah, I mean, we have recordings of
I want
the
him to go there
1920s.
so bad. I want to take him so badly. Like, I just want to take him up there. That's a long way for us, though.
I know, but it's worth the drive.
Yeah, we'll come. I know it.
We've done a couple experiments there. I talk about it all the time, and I'm almost embarrassed to talk about it again because I'll probably put everybody to sleep. But it goes along with your music playing. We did a dress-up, Singapore theory. We dressed up as the women were bordello babes, Can you see
Oh
that
God,
little
yeah.
baby? And the guys were gangsters. And we had music. Listen, you go on my Facebook, there's pictures of me dressed up like one.
I got it.
She was the madam.
With her head down, she's looking. But we had music playing in the background. That was all music that was played during the Roaring Twenties. And it really did bump up the activity because we created everything back in the time. Now, the great room, obviously, you've got the refrigerators and a couple different types of appliances going on there that weren't back then, but the rest of the places, and it was really awesome. So, Keith, I'm really glad to hear you play the music because it does attract. Speaking of attracting, something just fell off of the shelf. Sorry. It does really attract the activity, and I also think if you're playing certain music like you play. Let's just say maybe you decided to play like lullabies or children's tunes. It kind of eases the tension and maybe brings them forward. How do you feel about that?
Oh yeah.
I totally agree.
Yeah, definitely. I've seen it. Yeah.
Kim, I'm gonna direct this back to you because Kim had wanted to talk about this. We're gonna go back to crystals a little bit. When you go on an investigation, I know you have your dowsing rods and you have other different type of equipment. I have seen people line up crystals.
I
line up crystals. Yeah,
It's
I
like
have seen that.
information in circles. What is that all about?
I personally have not done it, but I have seen people do it.
Yeah, I've seen them put them in lines, and I've seen them put them in circles.
And it brings, it's just another vibration. It's almost like music. I mean, rocks carry that vibration just like a music does, or anybody else with just like some people bring that higher vibration too.
Like me. No.
But I've never tried it. I have wanted to. I just hadn't.
Yeah,
It's
but
on
you
my list.
but you would have to go somewhere to where you really wanted to go to do it. Because most of the investigations
I do have a place in mind, but it's somewhere he's going to take me, and I think that'd be a great place to line up crystals.
well,
So,
most of
I
the
don't- it's some church. I don't
most
know
of the
where it's at.
investigations you do are with conferences,
Huh? Do
conventions.
what?
Most of the investigations you do are with conventions or conferences.
I never
So you
do-
wouldn't. That would not be a good place to try to put
No,
out anything.
no, I don't hardly ever do the convention.
Not since the chicken bones.
investigations, hardly ever. I mean, very, very rarely. And I'll tell you why. For one, I don't like noise. I get very agitated. I will tell somebody to shut up real quick. So it's like, I like quiet. I like just me and Keith and maybe two other people, and that's it. I mean, I don't mind doing, like I did the investigation at the Shanley, but that was different. Everybody was great.
Everybody was respectful of where everybody else was.
Yes. I mean, it was great. So, I mean, but it's very rare that you get that, in an event, especially large conventions.
Yeah, because there was, 30, 40 of us in the building at any one time.
Well, I was really shocked that it was so quiet, but I think everybody was just so amazed at what was going on, with the balloon moving here and there and the feeling and everything was just going ballistic, kind of. It was crazy. It was great.
Yeah, we had voices and everything going on all weekend, even up till Sunday afternoon when we were up on the 3rd floor and heard the growl.
Yeah, I just downloaded or uploaded, whatever you want to say, all the stuff off my Tascam VR40 last night. So I haven't even listened to any of it. So I'm kind of curious I want to hear the growl, because I know I got 2 on there.
Well, we both heard it.
Yeah, I mean, I know I rewinded it and listened to it, so I know it's on there. I just got to find where it's at. 'Cause I had like 1,733 files.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my God, it enamel. What?
Another question on the stones. Just because it's not necessarily a strong protection stone or listed as a strong protection stone, when someone picks a specific stone for them, can that be just as strong as a stronger protection stone?
Yes, it could. Because it's gifted, it makes it more special. So yes, gifted things are very special things.
Well, no, I picked this one out, but you know I'm the citrine freak.
You mean for you?
Yeah.
Or for somebody else?
For me,
Oh, okay. What'd you pick out? What stone?
citrine. You know me and the citrine.
Oh, yeah. Citrine's a nice stone. That's one stone I don't carry.
I know. Well, I must say I do have the one crystal quartz you had that had the citrine inclusion.
Yeah. Do you have a zircon?
No.
You need to get a zircon. They're great stones. Great for psychic abilities, meditation, all of it. Astral travel.
No, I have my little bowl here, and then I have more outside. But you know me and the Yellowstone.
Yeah, they're pretty. I have some. I just don't carry them.
I carry them. Different.
It's funny how everybody likes certain things, you know.
Well, my color's yellow. I guess I gotta go there.
See, now if you started talking about cats, I could perk up and get into this conversation. Hey, Keith, we'll just have, Lee can interview and then we'll interview. So, Keith, how's it going?
See?
It's all good. It's all good.
Ask Keith why he grew out his beard. Ah.
Well, I guess he has to tell us now. I haven't reached the mind reading section yet, so you're gonna have to tell us.
I went through a lot of trials. I went through a lot of relationships, and why do you make me tell this?
Because I think it needs to be told.
Well, it's first of all, I got a little butt chin under here, and it was I got to a point where I was going through relationships. A lot of women was attracted to me, clean shaved and all, and of course I played, all around my hometown and bands and all, so it's I just never could find anyone to connect with. I never could connect, and I went through so many bad relationships that I got into prayer, and I got to talking to God, and I felt that I would grow my beard, and I told God, I asked God to put somebody into my life, someone like me, that could understand me and wouldn't look at me as just an attraction of anything sexual or anything like that. I wanted someone to see who I was and somebody that could feel like I felt, and I didn't see it anywhere. I growed up looking up to my aunts and uncles that married young and stayed together. They had that strength, that strength in their love that you couldn't kill. And also my grandparents, and that's what I always wanted for myself. So I just said in a prayer at this time to God that I'm going to grow my beard as long as it'll go. I'm going to let it go. And I want somebody to look at me and find me I knew I would find someone through the eyes, someone that could see into my soul and I could also see into theirs and put aside all the worldly things and that people get wrapped up in with sexual thoughts, with a lot of relationships I went through. They got involved with me because I played in rock bands, and I had, they was attracted to me, and a lot of them thought that I was just a big partier because I played in rock bands. Thought that I was lived that lifestyle that so many do.
And you don't.
and I couldn't find love that way. That was no way. So I grew the beard to cover myself. I didn't want that, and I was searching for somebody that could look in my eyes and see and feel who I was, and that's what I asked for. I asked God to send somebody to me that would understand me, and somebody that's had experiences that I've had. And right before I met Tracy, I had got to the point to where I thought, maybe it wouldn't be in this life. Maybe I would have to pass on before that vision would be fulfilled, of meeting the woman on the cliff. I had pretty much given up on having love in my life in this life. And then all of a sudden I meet her at this event, and like I said, I was off balance. It vibrated my body, which was a lot similar to the vibration I got when I had my out-of-body experience. One of the strongest feelings and experiences I've had in my whole life. So now, God's granted me my prayer that I've wanted for so long, but I had to go through a lot of trials and deal with a lot of things. So I had to learn. There's reasons behind everything. I would say to anybody out there, there's always hope if you got God in your life. Just pray to God, reach out to God, and ask, and if you can show Him that what you truly want and what you feel in your heart's true, He will answer you.
Well, I want to back up a little bit to something you said earlier when we started the show, when I'd asked you about when you were 5, and then you went on to talk about when you were age 9. How important was it for you to have your family behind you, knowing that your mother and your grandmother were the same way? If you don't think you had family members there for support, do you think you would have continued to who you are now?
See, that's what happened. It's going off right now, and that thing's broke. It don't work.
Okay, well maybe that was a good question I set out there then.
Well, let me say it was I wasn't around my mother for a few years until I was in my early teens. We had separated for a while, and I was with my pops, with my dad, and so I kept a lot inside that I was experiencing. A whole lot. And it was, like I said, I had my out-of-body experience at 13, but 15 came around, I started having a lot more visions. I had reconnected with my mother, and that's when I talked to her at 15, finally, and let all this stuff out. And, that's when she tells me that she had it and her mother had it, and not only on that side of the family, but she said, ask your dad. Your grandmother had on your father's side has it, and not only my dad's mother, she read cards. She read copy grounds, tea grounds, everything. Uh, but not only both of my grandmothers had gift of visions and reading, but on my dad's side, my great grandmother had the gift of laying hands on people. She was a healer. So that's when I accepted, okay, all this is I'm just going to have to accept. I'm going to have to deal with and learn to keep control with. And it was 21. When I was 21, I still battled from 15 to 21. And this happened. I experienced I had an experience with somebody with a gift of healing, like my great grandmother had. I went through some deep depression after my first marriage, and I felt failure. I was going through it really bad, and my grandmother, my dad's mother, came to me. One of the clearest apparitions I ever seen. She was in like 2 feet away from my face, speaking to me, but her lips didn't move. She was like, when you used to take a picture negative and hold it up to a light, you can tell who that is in your family. That's the way my grandmother looked. And her lips didn't move, but I heard her voice, and she spoke to me. And
telepathically.
Telepathically. And it changed my mind of what I had on my mind at the time, which was suicide. I was in deep depression, and I was thinking of suicide, and I was that close to doing it. And God sent my grandmother, and that's what it took to stop me. And I laid in a house for 3 days. I shut myself off to people. I didn't eat. I didn't drink. I laid in there. I knew I couldn't commit suicide by what God had done shown me. So I laid in there for 3 days, and still battling. On the 3rd day, I had a vision. I was in a field, and there was a barbed wire fence as far as you could see both ways. On my side of the barbed wire fence, everything was dead, dirt, rocks, desert. On the other side, everything was green, perfect, beautiful, and there's mountains in the background. And I wanted to go over this fence. I was tempted to go over this fence, and a voice spoke and said, "No, you're not ready." So about that time, I see a ball blowing through the sky. It was about probably 10 feet off the ground. I don't feel no wind, but this ball looks like the wind shifting it, blows it over the barbed wire fence. I want to go over again. And the voice says, "No, you're not ready." Well, right as I'm asking, what's that mean? Why am I not ready? The voice says, 1st and 2nd Corinthians, in blood you will be happy. And I wake up, and I ask God, why do you show me these things and I don't understand? It's not always clear. It's like something I got to figure out. Well, at that point, I hear his voice speak again. He says, "Get up and go see someone." So that's the last thing he said. I'm sitting there a couple of minutes. Well, what does that mean? They don't tell me no more. The phone rings, which times before has happened with my mother. My mother calls out of nowhere. She knows when I'm hurting or in some kind of trouble. We've had that connection, me and my mother. And her mother and her and my uncle also had that. But she said, I said, I'm hurting. I can barely walk. I didn't go into detail. I was sick as could be. She told me to go to this clinic I'd never been to before. I got up, got in the car, and made it there. And I walk into this clinic for the first time, and it's full of people. I fill out my paperwork, sit down, All of a sudden, I'm the next one called. They send me to the second floor. I hand the paperwork to a nurse on the second floor. There's people up there who've been waiting all morning. They take me right in the door into an office, and I sit up on this table. They say, well, the doctor will be in with you in a few minutes. So maybe 5 minutes goes by. I'm sitting there. This man walks up in the doorway, and we make this eye connection, like me and Tracy made, like me and other people have made that's all had experiences. We lock eyes, and he walks up to me and says, I don't want to know who you are, why you're here, what your symptoms are. He said, God showed me in a vision last night that you'd be coming to see me. So I'm sitting on this table weak, hurting, all of my joints are aching. I feel terrible. I'm depressed, weak as can be. And this guy says, do you know Jesus Christ as your Savior? And I said, yes, sir. He said, well, will you pray with me? Let me pray on you. And I said, yes, sir. And I bowed my head with this man, and I felt him touch my knees. He leaned in on me on my knees, and I felt heat boiling, bubbling in my feet. Came up through my legs, all the way through my body. And after his prayer, he says, now get up and walk out of here. If you ever need me again, here's my card, get in touch with me. Well, every feeling of sickness I had was gone. I felt like I wasn't even walking on the ground. I was floating. I was like walking on clouds and no pain. I went straight from there to a preacher that sang music with my uncle at the time. They were in a group for 20-something years. I went to him and told him what had happened. And that Sunday, I went and got baptized at his church. Well, it was just last week. That's been 17 years ago. Last week, I found the doctor and talked to him on the phone. And our next trip in the hospital, we're going to be having dinner with him and talk about.
We're going to do some videoing and get all of it on.
Yeah, and I'm going to a couple other people to shoot some video on experiences where they was with me when it happened. I've got a friend that was with me when I had the out-of-body experience. I've got a friend, I've got this with the doctor that laid hands on me and healed me. Charlie, I dreamt of one of my friends. His wife calls me, says, you need to hurry up and get up here. Charlie ain't gonna make it. Well, I go from being on the phone with her to walking in the hospital room doorway, and he's already passed. And he's laying there, his eyes wide open, and I stand over him and tell him I'm sorry I didn't make it in time. And she said he just passed away a couple minutes before you got here. He just passed away. And so
that was a vision.
So I called my mother and told her, and of course my mother says, well, you got to call him and tell him. You got to hurry up and call him. Don't hold this in. I said, well, I ain't ever spoke to them on a spiritual level or nothing. They might think I'm nuts. How am I going to do this? And she said, just do it. You just do it. And don't worry about none of that. Just do it, because if something happens, you're going to have to live with that the rest of your life and regret it. And so I called them, and they took it to heart. I told him and his wife on the phone, and he took it to heart. He went to a doctor the next day. They run all these tests on him, and once he called me back, he says, yeah, you were right. They said that I was lucky to still be walking. I could have done dropped dead with a massive heart attack. So they had to change his diet and all this stuff, get him on medicine, his heart and everything. So I talked to him last week also, setting up a date to get with them when we go back to Huntsville, Alabama, and get some of this on film. So
A lot of people, it's hard to believe when we're just talking about it. So we're going to get all of his visions that he's had with people.
Just been involved.
We're going to record it. That way you can see the other side, talk about it their way, So,
Well,
it's See, Keith had visions of the Bible and never even read the Bible. He had verses, he knew verses and things and never even read the Bible. And it's all there.
Amazing. Well, you know what? I hate to cut in or anything like this, but we're actually running over. But I didn't want to interrupt you because your story was so interesting. What's that?
He needs to write a book. We both do.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for joining us. And what do you have coming up in the future?
Oh my gosh. Keith will be in Mississippi at a gun place, Central Firearms, Mississippi. And we'll be at the Spiritual Expo in Louisville. Is it St. Louis? No, it's Louisville, Kentucky. Yeah, Louisville, Kentucky. And then we're doing the Mid-Ohio. Gosh, I can't remember all of them. We've got one almost every month.
Aren't you doing Tyler?
No, I'm not doing Tyler. Oh, and I'm doing the Galveston show with Dash. The event in September. I can't remember them all. We might be going to Vegas. I hadn't decided yet.
Well, next time you come through Texas up 20, you better stop by my shop, or else we'll.
Yeah, I'm not doing Tyler. We've got too much going on, and we just can't make it. Because that's soon, isn't it?
Next month, I think.
Is it?
I think so.
I think we have something on top of it, and that's the reason why we can't go.
So where can people look for your schedule in case you're close to them?
They can find us on Facebook. Facebook, it's Tracy Ray 000, Tracy Ray 00, or Tracy Ray 01 is my Facebook.
All right. Well, thank you. And Keith, it was a pleasure meeting you. And Tracy, well, I already know you.
Pleasure meeting you.
All right. You take care. And thank you so much for joining us.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.